Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. He's back, he's been promoted. He's not got a better job here, but he's been promoted with Wrexham. Ben Foster, an ex-United player who's not scared to have a chat with me.
Who are you talking about there, mate?
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm Manchester United. Anyway, it's a pleasure to have you back. You've been off for a few weeks, and what a week to come back, because we're going to talk about David De Gea, but what a weekend. What an iconic picture. We had Messi in the World Cup up on the shoulders. I don't know what's better. I'm almost saying let's do an edit. Messi on the shoulders and Ben Foster on the shoulder. You've got to love it, mate.
Oh, mate, I've never done that before, you know. I never done, and even when the full-time whistle went, I don't know if anybody's seen the vlog yet, but I had to sprint into the back of my goal because I knew for a fact somebody's going to try and nick the GoPro. I knew somebody was going to try and nick the GoPro, right? So I sprint into the back of the goal, get it, and then everybody just jumps on me, mate. I'm getting floored, but not at one point did I think, oh, this is dangerous, or this is... I was just like all over it, honestly. People just grabbing me, pulling me. They sort of like, the security guards came in and they sort of ushered me towards like the tunnel, and I'm thinking, they're trying to get me in the tunnel, and I'm thinking, no chance. And I'm looking, I can see all lads on shoulders and stuff, and I'm thinking, I just want a piece of that. So eventually I got on somebody's shoulders, and mate, it's good, it's so good. It was a wicked day. The atmosphere was incredible, and yeah, I'm still kind of semi-recovering now, to be honest with you.
You need to see the clip of him getting the GoPro, actually, because you know when you're on a plane and they say, if anything goes wrong, leave your luggage behind? He's the example of why you don't need to do that. He literally whistle, grabs the GoPro, straight out. The only one thing I must say is that in the Notts County game, you were about 5 yards off your line.
Yes, I was, I know. You've got to do it, mate.
It was a bloody good save.
When you ain't got VAR, mate, you've got to bend the rules as much as you possibly can. It was a good save, to be fair. I was happy with that. It was, I've played 7 games for Wrexham, and we've had so many, like, big moments and talking points and, like, massive parts. And honestly, like I said, I've played football for 20 years, but I've had a couple moments already in the last few weeks that have really meant a lot to me, like genuinely top of my career things where I'll always remember them and think about them.
Great story, great story. But we're going to stick with goalkeepers because it's a great... Look, we're off to Wembley. We were there yesterday, but we were back against Man City. But we're going to stick with goalkeepers because obviously you had that big penalty save. And I've got to say, Man United's penalty shootout yesterday against Brighton, I'm not going to talk massively about the game because it was 0-0 and it goes to penalties. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a massive fan of De Gea, and this is what we're going to get into because I know a load of people are interested in this. It's crazy, Ben, over the weekend. Like, I got to the point yesterday morning where I felt like some United fans actually wanted De Gea to make mistakes because it's just, since Sevilla, it's gone crazy. And you've got an interesting angle on it, which we're going to go to. Look, we had ex-players. Neville was one of them. Let's get a new goalkeeper after Sevilla. But... Where do you stand on that? Because what I would say on penalties yesterday, I never felt... one thing about De Gea, I don't think he's great at penalties.
He hasn't saved a penalty in, like... I'd love to see the stats. Does anybody know these stats, by the way? It's ridiculous. It's outrageous since the last time he saved a penalty. So I think you knew that you were hoping Brighton were going to miss a penalty. It's the only way that United were going to win that.
But he made a world-class save in the game.
He did make a world-class... So let's take it back to the Sevilla game, OK? So I think the world we live in now, everybody is just so reactive. Yeah, they are. They're so reactive. You have one bad game, and don't get me wrong, it was a bad game. It was a very bad game. In terms of goalkeeping, it's right up there with a bit of a...
hat-trick, wasn't it?
It's a stinker. It's an absolute stinker. But this is the world we live in where everybody is so reactive. So straight after that game, it's Harry Maguire, David De Gea, get out of our club. We don't need you anymore. We need to move on. And it's just ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. David De Gea comes back, plays against Brighton, does really well, makes some incredible saves. He looked normal again, didn't he? He looked composed. He looked calm.
What do you think that was all about? Because some people say it's because of Maguire. And you might be able to give us an insight in this. And it's not a criticism of Maguire, and even if it is a criticism of Maguire, it's still a criticism of De Gea because as a top level player, you can't just go, I don't play well with that player, he makes me nervous. But it was such a contrast with Lindelof and Shaw in front of him yesterday, but maybe reset, I don't know.
It's, I think there is a little bit of it. I think there is a little bit of it. When you know you're playing with a player who's probably very low on confidence, you're almost second-guessing yourself a little bit. Let's go back to that first goal in Sevilla the other night. David De Gea has to know better there. He does. He has to know better than to give it to Harry Maguire. I know Harry Maguire wants the ball, and you see him, give me the ball, right? If I'm in David De Gea's position there and I see Harry Maguire asking for the ball, mate, no chance on this earth. I'm not giving him that ball. I will shall it as far away as I possibly can, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's a Harry Maguire mistake, for sure, without doubt, right? But David De
People can see
Gea,
the
yeah,
size.
at that point, David De Gea is that he's experienced enough to know that you can't give him the ball in them situations. You know, it's a pressured situation. You're away from home. You've got 3 players shutting him down. He's not calm and composed enough to just turn out, because he could have done if he just turned out with the ball. If he'd have had a little
we've
look,
seen Martinez do it millions
exactly
of times.
that.
I suppose that's the problem, isn't it? Where I come in, because I go, well, De Gea's been told to play out from the back by his coach. He's done it all season. But I agree with you and everybody else that you've got to look at who you're passing it to.
This is the problem we've got. So Erik ten Hag wants them to play this style of football, and he would have wanted David De Gea to give the ball there to Harry Maguire, because that's probably what they work on in training. But sometimes you just have to read the room. You do. You have to read the room and understand you're away from home. Don't do that. Get the ball away from there as quick as you can. But this is what I'm thinking is the problem at the minute, is that you've got Harry Maguire and David De Gea, who aren't really Erik ten Hag style of players, are they? Let's be brutally honest about it. Erik ten Hag, if he wants to evolve this Man United team to the way he wants to do it, like what he did like what he did at Ajax, then he's going to have to get a goalkeeper that is double comfortable playing that style of football, and more defenders that are playing that style of football. Because Harry Maguire, it's great having this style of football where you play out from your back, but Harry Maguire's not that guy. He's not that guy for you. He'll do a job for Newcastle. He'll do a job for some of the big boys. Spurs probably would. He'd improve Spurs, actually.
Yeah, he would.
But he's not that guy who's going to want to take the ball. And like I say, that turn out, if he's calm enough there, before the ball comes to him, he has a look over his shoulder, he has a look over that shoulder, and when the ball comes to him...
Scanning, isn't it?
Yeah, scanning, exactly that. This is where the world-class defenders, you can just see it. It's a tiny little thing, but if he knows nobody's behind him, he just lets the ball run across his body and he's out, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
Because he could have received that and blasted it himself. But look, onto you mentioned something there, because that's probably... This is the problem with Twitter and social media. I think people go to extremes. I think I've said this many times. I think we grew up in a world where you had a world where it's red, green and amber, and everyone's red or green now. Yeah. There's no in between. But what you just said there makes a lot of sense to me. Even as a De Gea fan, it's that whole... Is he really the long-term what Ten Hag wants? And I think you could almost put it in the Harry Kane thing. Is he the long-term striker that we need at Man United? Some would say yes, some would say no. So
I would say yes to that, by the way.
Would you... Well, we can talk about that in a minute then. But what about... So De Gea, this summer, he's doing a new contract. Not the only goalkeeper who might be doing a new contract. And if you want to say something, Ben, exclusively, you can. But I'm sure he won't. But... do you give him that? He's going to sign that new contract. So where do you stand on what you've just said there then? Because if he's not a Ten Hag goalkeeper, is this more about it'll probably move him on in the next year or two? Or should it happen now? Because a replacement for De Gea is going to... You've mentioned this before. It's going to cost 60 million when you probably want a Harry Kane, you want a midfielder, you want a centre-back. There's not loads of money. So is De Gea more, in your mind, you've just got to look at it in the longer term, you're probably going to have to replace it. But for now, you've got a great shot.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's this has got to be a massive headache for Ten Hag, right? Because you think if he signs him to a new contract... So first and foremost, David De Gea's contract runs out in the summer, but he has an option in his contract, apparently, where the club can exercise it at their right to sign him for another year, OK?
350 grand a week.
On 350 grand a week. So they can either just exercise it for another year and keep him there on 350 grand a week, and then he's got no real resale value. But then if you do sign him to a new 2 or 3 year deal, has he really got much resale value? Is anybody going to come in and try and buy him for 40, 50 million quid? I don't think so. No. I really don't think so.
Which is amazing, because he's an amazing goalkeeper.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's probably not...
There's not
going to be a queue.
This is the problem. But then also Ten Hag has to think about, is he really the goalie that he wants playing for his team? Because if you want to do it properly and you want to do it like a Man City or an Arsenal, you have to get one of those goalies. You have to get a goalie who wants to be able to play the ball. And it sounds brutal, but you know, Man City did it back in the day famously. Pep Guardiola, he's got Joe Hart as his goalie. He knows that he's not going to be that guy who will be playing it out from the back, so he just ruthlessly moves him aside and gets somebody in that can do that. So this is the problem that we're facing at the minute, and I guarantee you it's a massive problem for Ten Hag. Has he got enough about him to say, sorry, David, you're not the goalie that I want to play the style of football I want. You're a fantastic goalie and I love you to bits, but you are not the goalie that's going to progress this team to the way I want it to be.
And I think this is where the fans are getting it wrong, because they're running before they can walk, because I don't think we're at that point yet. I mean, you mentioned Pep, and you're right, but Pep had 3 right-backs.
Yeah, he did.
He had an open checkbook.
Yeah.
We haven't... I think United have got around 150 million net to spend this summer.
Do you know what I think as well? Do you know what I think is a problem for United as well is, I don't think United will ever give the manager enough like full free reign and full trust and full just go and do it. Do you know what I mean? Pep Guardiola came in. Do you remember when he came in at first and Man City were trying to play out from the back and they got off to a bit of a rocky start,
They had a bad first season. That was when Leicester won.
Exactly. They had a really bad first season and everybody was like, Pep, you can't play that style of football over here, Pep Guardiola. It's not going to work like that. But they stuck with it, didn't they? They stuck with it and he kept true to his beliefs and he was like, no, this is the way we play football. It's worked for me at Barcelona. It's worked for me at Bayern Munich. We're going to do it. And my God, have they revolutionised the way that it's done. And so much so that everybody's now gone, we want to get to that level as well. But have Man United got the time to be able to do that? Because Man United fans won't stand this for another year or two. They want it now. They want to win games now. They want to be challenging for titles because it's been so long already. So that's my only worry as well, is whether they're willing to go, right, no, we're just going to put all our trust into him and let him do whatever it needs to do.
Is De Gea Man United's goalkeeper next season?
I think he will be.
Yeah.
I think he will be because I don't think financially United can do anything differently, and I don't think Ten Hag has got enough power and enough free reign yet to be able to go, sorry mate, I need to get a big boy in who can play with his feet.
I just don't think we're ready yet to play out from the back. I don't think we've got the players yet. I don't think we've got the midfield. It'd be interesting. And I think, like you say, Man United fans want to be there now. That Man City final, which will be the last game of the season, you win that, you go into the summer with a big positive. You get beat and you lose a treble, and suddenly everybody's on the for sale list. I did just want to ask you very quickly about Harry Kane. Terrible performance for him over the weekend for Spurs, but individually scored quite a good goal. Is he the right man for Manchester United? I think he is striker-wise, but there's got to be a question about United's mentality. You've been a player, you've played the game. In relation to Harry Kane, what is the situation when you've been a footballer that's never won a trophy all your life? Is that something United should worry about in relation to Harry Kane when they need... We saw it against Sevilla, we saw it against Liverpool, we saw it against Newcastle. This squad has a problem mentally. You've got to bring winners in. Is Harry Kane a winner that's been suppressed for 10 years, or would you have a little bit of concern that he might have been impacted by Spurs and England over 10 years, that when the chips go down...
Spurs, he comes in.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be his fault. You call it Stockholm Syndrome, PTSD, whatever you want to call. Is he a player that's just going to become a massive winner if he goes to Man United, or do you think that might be something Man United want to look at? I
think I'll have no worries over Harry Kane whatsoever. I don't think he's got any fragilities in his mental state when it comes to anything like that whatsoever. He is a born winner who wants to just get on the pitch and score goals. And I think, honestly, he's got 4 years left in him, really, at the top level still. 4 years of banging in goals, 25 goals a season, guaranteed every single season for the next 4 years. And I just think, why would you risk getting an Osimhen who might do it in the Premier League? He might do, but it'll cost you 100 million to find out. It would. Whereas you could get Harry Kane for probably, less than half the price of that, maybe? Less than half the price.
Maybe the same price.
100 mil still. He's
I guarantee
a year left
you, mate.
in his career,
Mate,
on his contract.
You need to get a new agent.
Even if he's going to cost 70 million quid, right? I think it's guaranteed. It is absolutely guaranteed that he will score you goals. And I think that's the bit for me is, why take that risk when you know it's guaranteed? And he'll bang goals in. So just go and do it. It's as simple as that.
There you go. Pro Kane. People say
I've been saying this for weeks, though. We said this on the live tour when we did the live tour. I remember asking all the people in the audience, who would you rather have, Osimhen or Harry Kane? And even all the crowd was saying, Osimhen. I'm thinking, no, it's guaranteed. It's tried and tested. He'll do the job for you. Simple as that.
There you go. Some people will like that opinion.
Yeah, good.
That's what it's all about. Well done, Ben. Thanks for taking the time. Very
Pleasure.
busy now, very popular, hangs around with Hollywood.
You was going to say Z-listers then? Z-listers?
What swimming pool? What's it? Deadpool? That's it, innit?
You can't say swimming pool. You can't say swimming pool.
I'm only joking. He'd be probably B-list, wouldn't he? A-list.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know, I've never watched anything.
Oh, he's big dog, mate. He's A-list.
Send me some links.
He's Hollywood royalty, mate.
Is he like comedy or is he serious?
No, he's comedy, mate. He's
not
if you're going to watch one film of Ryan Reynolds, watch Van Wilder, Party Liaison. Honestly, it's one of my favourite films of all time. It is world class.
Porn, is it?
No.
What is it?
It's like
Van Wilder Party Liaison.
It's like a college kind of like frat kind of. He's funny, mate. He's so funny.
Oh, I thought Van Wilder was that thing who killed Dracula.
Van Helsing.
You're
miles off it. You're miles off.
We'll leave it there. Check out Ryan Reynolds' latest film, Van Wilder, Van Hilda.
Ryan Reynolds. Love you, mate.
There you go. He does. Thanks for coming on, Ben. Legend. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash the like on the video. Get your comments in below. I'll speak to you on the next one.